Climate change poses major risks to financial markets, regulator warns. Want climate news in your inbox? Our email newsletter, Washington U, a top financial regulator, is opening a public effort to highlight the risk that climate change poses to the nation's financial markets, setting up a clash with a president who has mocked global warming and who sits on the federal government's five-member, a powerful agency overseeing major financial markets including grain futures, oil trading and complex derivatives, said in an interview on Monday that the financial risks from climate change were comparable to those posed by the mortgage meltdown that triggered the 2008 financial crisis. If climate change causes more volatile, frequent and extreme weather events, you're going to have a scenario where these large providers of financial products, mortgages, home insurance, pensions, cannot shift risk away from their portfolios, he said. It's abundantly clear Mr. Behnam was appointed by President Trump to a seat on the commission that, by law, must be filled by a Democrat. He said that the commission is designed to operate more independently from the White House than many federal agencies, and legal experts said it would be difficult, though not impossible, for Mr. Behnam's boss to fire or demote him. I have a unique bully pulpit, Mr. Behnam said, sitting in his office in downtown Washington. Experts in government affairs said Mr. Behnam's initiative was unusual. Historically, on Wednesday, Mr. Behnam plans to detail the formation of a panel of experts at the Trading Commission assigned to produce a report on how global warming could affect the financial sector, potentially impacting food costs, insurance markets, the mortgage industry and other economic pillars. Because the report, expected late this year or early next, would be a product of the federal government, it would most likely put Mr. Behnam in direct conflict with the policies of the Trump administration. The report, his interest in the financial effects of climate change, he said, stems from 6 years working for Debbie Stabenow, a Michigan Democrat, on the Senate Agriculture Committee. He left the A White House spokesman, Judd Deere, declined to comment on Mr. Behnam's plans. Mr. Behnam is not the first financial regulator to call attention to the market risks posed by climate change. In 2010, the Securities and Exchange Commission began requiring publicly traded companies to disclose the risks to their bottom lines associated with climate change. Coca-Cola. In January, the California electricity provider Pacific Gas and Electric declared bankruptcy while facing related to damages from 2 years of wildfires. Experts said, in April, the financial firm BlackRock, the world's largest manager of financial assets, found that investors in electric utility stocks were quick to sell following extreme weather, setting up a pattern of market volatility. A coalition of 39 central banks, representing about half the global economy and including the central banks of England, China, Canada, Japan, and the European Union but not the United States, has convened on financial markets. We understand that climate change causes a big systemic risk, said Stefano Giglio, a professor of finance at Yale University who has published studies with the National Bureau of Economic Research on the financial consequences of warming. But right now, Mr. Trump has made it a signature priority to roll back climate change policies. He has announced that, in addition, a top White House official, William Happer, has sought to discredit the findings of the 2018, a report produced by 13 federal agencies, which concluded that the effects of climate change could cause severe harm across the nation's physical and economic landscape. The United States, and this month, the White House from including basic climate science in the congressional testimony of an intelligence analyst. On Tuesday, Mr. Behnam said he had incidents like these in mind when he decided to commission the financial risk study. When I see people, for more news on climate and the environment, search for location/city.
Raindrop, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.